Okay, so we don't film a whole lot, but I am wanting to film this trip that's coming up. I'm going out to Baja, and I had to swing by the office, say hi to Shelby before I go, and pick up my trusty little Leatherman. But I got the truck all loaded up with the 500, and I am gonna first head down to visit Taco Moto Co. With Mike there, get a few things looked at, and then head off to San Diego, park the truck, get onto the motorcycle, and then head out to Tecate. So that's my first leg of the trip. But let's go check out the bike real quick. That's in the back of the truck. Okay, so we got the bike loaded up, all the gears inside here, kind of stacked up. I couldn't imagine doing this with 2 people. The Jeep truck's not all that big. Mike already did a full walkthrough of this particular bike, so go check that out on his channel, so Taco Moto Co. Of course, we got the Atlas on there. This is my first trip down to Baja, and I'll be doing it solo. I'll be taking a Garmin InReach and all the other things that are needed to stay safe on the road. But yeah, that's that. Okay, so I showed up to Vegas last night, dropped off the bike with Mike at Taco Moto Co. And he's been getting it Baja proof, Baja ready. All right, so here's Mike.
Dave, what's up, man? How in the hell are you, man?
Doing so good, so stoked. I know you did a walkthrough already on this bike, and it is off
so
the
ready.
chain.
Dude, it's so ready.
It's ready to roll.
Yeah, I'm stoked for you. So we had to do a couple of things. The rear shock seal had blown out, and we've seen that a little bit. There is an updated design on the rear wheel seal on the shock. And so I updated you on that. So you're good there. And then we just went through and looked everything over, fine-tuned everything, adjusted your chain, made sure you're ready for like a 12-day solo. You're going to be 12 days down there?
Yeah, about.
This is the bike. This is the bike to take. You'll be able to run single track, 2-track, highway if you need to. You can use your Atlas throttle lock to make sure that
that's right.
out your hand. The 500
Absolutely.
is really the ultimate Baja machine, and with your racks, you've got Moscow probably on your bags.
Well, I got a mix of, spreading the love with Giant Loop and Moscow's gear.
All in the Northwest, all
Yep.
good stuff. You can't go wrong with either brand. We talked about fuel range. So this is the intermediate tank. This is not the smallest tank. This is not the biggest tank. This is the Goldilocks tank in the middle. You will probably get 100 and... Have you done a mileage test on this bike with this tank?
You know what? I haven't just been going with extra gas to see where I can get. I'm guessing about 150 miles, right around there, depending on how aggressive I am.
Yes.
I'm not going to be too aggressive because it will be fully loaded, and I'm going by myself for this particular trip.
Yeah. So much of mileage is in the right wrist. I have guys... Well, when I'm out riding really aggressively on single track, the mileage like drops. I get 25 miles to the gallon.
Well, are you going in and out of different traction control settings too?
Well, now this is something good we can maybe talk about really quick. Map 1 is race mode. That's wide open, so that's full power. Map 2 is your like single track off-road enduro map.
Yeah.
It also has less timing, which is favorable if you get some bad gas in Mexico.
Oh, that's good to know. Because I brought some octane boost.
Octane boost,
yeah.
Yes. So because now these 20-plus generation bikes have a higher compression, it's over 12-to-1 compression, which is pretty aggressive. It's not as aggressive as the motocross bikes, but it's very aggressive for considering the previous generations, which were in the 11s. So I would probably just recommend running in Map 2 the whole trip.
The entire trip,
Trip.
Okay. And that's not going to bog down the fuel economy, like my range?
You'll get a little bit better mileage on Map 2.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
You'll get a little bit better mileage. Power will be a little more linear, a little smoother. You won't be banging off. If you get some bad gas, you won't be like detonating as much. If you are detonating, though, on Map 2, that means that you are going to want to dump in some of that booster because you got some really sour gas.
Okay. You can see my 2x4s right down here. You hooked me up with the unobtainium.
It's so hard to get these seats.
Yeah.
Man. So you've got the comfort. The width here is the same width as the stock. Imagine this all the way back. So you've got now 3.5 inches on either side for a little bit of booty comfort. I like that seat a lot. What else are you excited to go down and test out?
I'm excited to try the Recluse. I've never had a Recluse before.
The goal of your project bike here, and a lot of the project bikes that I do, is to have the machine work for you as much as possible. So, for example, safety, comfort, rideability, endurance. You might want to put in 7, 8, 9, 10-hour days, and a bike like this with a setup like this will allow you to do that. If you were riding a motocross bike, or maybe this bike stock, then I know guys who they ride 3 or 4 hours and they're just blown apart. Their arms are all wrecked out. They're just gassed. So we've gone through and done the suspension. You're running a steering stabilizer.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to talk about. So I am about 3 months off of having a labral shoulder surgery. And I'm pretty good right now. I'm not 100%, but the steering stabilizer is going to be cranked up so that I'm going to take it easy like an old man. And then also the suspension is incredible. And I was hoping you could tell people a little bit more about it.
So what we did is it's all Race Tech internals, and we've done some special customizing to it. And so we're basically using that as a basis for our system. And the advantage of using the Race Tech internals over the stock is, if you remember, when and anybody who has this bike, one fork leg is compression and one fork leg is rebound, and so you're splitting it. That's a really ideal way to go with the mountain bike. Dynamic forces on a mountain bike are much less severe than on a dirt bike. So they did that to save costs and save weight. So you can see from a manufacturing point of view why there would be some advantages, but from a rider point of view, it is a step backwards in terms of feel, plushness, comfort, safety. So what we do with the Race Tech kit is we turn the forks, we basically gut out the internals, and we replace it all so that you have dual chamber, dual function. So that is to say, you have compression on the bottom, compression clickers
like
on the
it used to
bottom,
be,
and rebound clickers on the top.
Right.
Sort of like the old school open chamber forks of the previous generations, which were widely regarded as some of the best forks ever. You're now running that same internal setup, and then we did some revalving and then a bladder in the rear shock, and then put on a X-Trig. So,
the adjuster. And
yes, so as you load up the back end and you feel some squat, then you can just take your 8mm here and dive that, throw some preload into the shock. And if you notice, when we install this, I set it so that you're at the upper end. There's a lot of this dowel. As you drive down, you will see the extent. I've given you a lot of room to drive more preload in there to bring the rear end up. Riding at stock without a lot of weight, you're kind of in the ideal zone. But once you load this thing up, you will probably want to crank in some preload, and you can check the sag and determine how much exactly you need.
I know you got a great YouTube channel, and you also have a really helpful Facebook group for the KTM.
For the 500s. Well, not just for the 500s, for the EXC, FEs.
Okay, yeah. So why don't you tell people where they can go to find out more?
Tacomoto.co, and then we're on all the socials, Instagram, and we have the YouTube channel. It's kind of easy to find us.
It is easy. Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, thanks a lot for hooking me up, and
you're gonna have an amazing time,
dude.
I'm super jealous.
Solo with no agenda.
I'm massively jealous.
I'm stoked. So.
I'm bummed.
Cool. All right, well, signing out. So, latest update, right after I picked up my bike from Mike out in Vegas, I found out that my wife and 2 kids came down with COVID, and so I decided to fly home to make sure that everything was well, and Heidi's over here.
Hello.
She's doing good, so hopefully it's not bad, but once this whole thing is over, fingers crossed I don't lose my sense of taste so I can go munch on some tacos. I'll be flying back down to San Diego, pick up the bike, and then head into Baja. And that's where I'll pick up the trip. So I'll see you there.
But first, COVID.
Yeah. Buenos dias. Yesterday was the day that I left San Diego. Rode down all off highway riding because I'm on some dirt tires here. And then super easy border crossing. First time going through Tecate. You show up immediately into the middle of the town. Started climbing at that point up into a little bit of a development. I just made it out of Tecate, probably just on the border of it. So there's a little development up here, and it just cuts right into the Baja Divide Trail. I mean, this is nothing for what we're about to see, but It's great to have it right outside your little city wall. Headed along on the Baja Divide Trail, and it was stunning. Just even that small section from Tecate to Ojos Negros, which is where I'm at right now, camping. Obviously, I'm not all that far geographically from there, but big boulders stacked up on top of big boulders. I haven't been able to cut out to the ocean just yet, so hopefully gonna be able to do that today. I might be able to hit up some hot springs today, but right now, this is my setup. Today, another great day on the Baja Divide. There was a lot of sand. I started off at the coast and hit a ton of double track. There were some big rocks and some pretty crazy descents. It would be really tough hitting the Baja Divide heading north. And there's probably 2 sections that I wouldn't have been able to do because it was just a long, sharp rock hop the whole way through. Finally made it to El Rancho Coyote Milling, and it's stunning. I mean, they got the best light right now. They're cooking up a steak and quail dinner. And, there's just so much to see, and some really friendly dogs here too. Let me flip the camera around. There's this dog over here. There's the cabanas up there. There's an observatory nearby, but it's been closed down because of COVID. Here's the steak, beans and rice, and then there's quail. Supposedly it's the end of the season, so I'm getting the last bits. Which one is Talia? Are you Talia? You must be Talia. Hi. So I made it to hotel. Oh. These are noisy boots. I made it to Hotel Catavenia, and the moose that I have on my back tire went completely flat in one spot, and I wasn't really going fast at all. So not sure exactly what happened, other than it just reached its expiration at about 900 miles. Well before the tires. But anyways, I got a crazy good view. It's just gorgeous here. Perfect desert landscape. I'm excited to go explore once my tire's fixed. Now it's time for dinner. Check it out. Just this old dried up, I think Saguaro cactus. Using that as my center stand here. There's a couple guys down here in different Baja groups on Facebook who are leading tours, and one of them's Poncho. He's friends with Mike Spurgeon, or Taco Mike. Poncho was saying through text message that he knows somebody at the hotel that I'm staying at, and I was in the restaurant at the time having dinner, and the guy that he knew, his name's Daniel, he's actually my server. So this guy, Daniel, ended up having connections with obviously the locals here, and they were able to bring out another tube. There's another dude coming out, Brian, who has more spares because they're always leading tours up and down Baja. And so, you know, a mishap like this with the right group of people is not a mishap at all. It's actually part of the fun. And, you know, it's one of those stories that you wouldn't be able to tell unless your bike actually broke down. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting a new tube put on there so I can get back to it. Keep seeing all the beautiful scenery out here. It's just unreal. This whole area should be a national park. I know some parts of it are a national park. I got to see full moon last night. Came up on a cow that was just blown up by some semi-truck, and there were vultures all over it and the coyote eating at it. So things are still wild out here. But yeah, pretty stoked on this setup. Just waiting to have it fixed. I am back on the Baja Divide, heading out to Scorpion Bay from Mulahe, and it is stunning as expected. The Segura cactuses are everywhere, and then you have the Chola right over there. So I'm just trying to pick a line where I'm not going to get a puncture, because I headed down here with Moose and both tires. Because of that, I don't have tire irons to take these tires off. I don't have a pump, and I don't have even a pressure gauge. So I got to take it easy. Don't want to get too wild out here and get a puncture. But I couldn't avoid this. Just a little river crossing. Not bad. These little guys are everywhere on the trail. Not sure if they're caterpillars or centipedes. The sand out here in Baja is amazing. So nice and relentless. But man, this bike, I just can't get over it. It's just eating it up. Just north of San Juanico, Scorpion Bay. Heading north to see some gray whales, hopefully. Oh, hi. Hi. Wow.
He likes his
Oh, really? Oh, bumping us? Yeah. Hi, you. Wow.
Go guys. Let me see.
So the flat tires in Baja continue. My rear tire, which was a 21-inch standard tube in an 18-inch tire, just blew right on the road over here. So I pulled over, and what do you know? The next people rolling by are on a BMW 1200, and so they pulled up here. I took off the rear tire, they loaded it on the back of their top case, and took off to a tire repair shop. Not sure if they have a motorcycle tire patch kit. I don't know how torn up the tube is, but yeah, this is the last time I'm going down with just Moose. Oh, here's some more bikes. Yeah, maybe those guys have a tube. Could you believe it? So, Jorge and Judith, they took the tire to the tire guy that's about 15 minutes away, and it just was a banana peel. The inner tube had just blown up. And so they came back probably 45 minutes later. The whole while I'm standing over here trying to flag down anybody on a motorcycle to try to get a tube. Nobody stopped. When they rolled back, they said, we got bad news. And then we heard, and another dirt biker came ripping down the road, and he was waving to see if we were okay. He swung over, and I told him, yeah, my spare tube just popped. And he's like, okay, and zipped down his jacket, pulled out an 18-inch tube, and handed it to me. So this kind of stuff is just wild that happens out here. And you know, there are parts of the world that you really are riding alone, but not really in Baja. And so I'm really grateful for that. And all you awesome motorcyclists out there that are helping people out on the side of the street, like bozos like me, keep it up. I'm in Stockton and had the bike in the bed of the truck last night, and the guy at the reception said it's not a good idea. Get it out and put it in your room, but they only had second story rooms available. So I brought my motorcycle up an elevator over there and then slept again with my bike in the room. It's safer in Baja because I woke up at 4:30 this morning to a bunch of crazy cracked out druggies fighting each other right over here. And there was one person in a car, and all their windows were busted out, and they just had the little plastic cling wrap up around all their windows. So Baja is a pretty safe place, I'll tell you what.